Hi, I'm Maria. I'm from Sincerely Pasta, and I'll show you today how to make spaghetti with a basic tomato sauce. So what you need is a quarter of an onion, 2 garlic cloves, around 2 tablespoons of tomato puree, or what I have today is actually sun-dried tomatoes. I puree them on the Vitamix, and that's what I'm using. 1 can of good quality peeled tomatoes. These ones are Italian. The best ones are San Marzano. You don't find them everywhere, but most Italian places have them, and those are really good. If not, just some peeled tomatoes would do the trick. You also need some fresh basil, extra virgin olive oil, the best, the better, and 1 bag of Sincerely Pasta spaghetti. As far as equipment, I'm going to be using 1 big pot, 1 medium pot, and 1 pan. So I'm going to just first start to heat up the water. So fill up your big pot with cold water and bring it up to a boil while you do everything else. This is just going to take some time. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to turn this on. I'll leave it getting warm while we do the rest. So I'm going to start with the onion, and you want to cut it really thin into small pieces, and that's going to be the base for your sauce. So once you have cut your onion, you can heat up your pot on low-medium heat. And then add some olive oil. And put your onions in there. And you want to add to that a pinch of salt. It helps to release the water from the onion and gives a nice sweet flavor to the sauce. So we're going to leave that there cooking for a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut the garlic. So you want to slice or mince the garlic. We don't want to cut them into really small pieces because it's going to have too much garlic flavor. So you just want to cut it as thin as you can. So nice thin slices of onion. So now I'm going to check on the onions and see how they're doing. And they just need a couple more minutes. You want to cook the onions until they have a golden light brown. So it adds some sweet to the sauce, but it's not a really strong flavor. So I'll leave the onions cooking a little bit longer, and in the meantime, I'm gonna get started with the tomatoes. So I can take this out of the way. So just open your can of tomatoes. And today I'm going to be using this thing that's called a pasatutu. You can also use food meal if you have one, or you could even do it by hand. So the idea is to remove the seeds of the tomatoes. So this thing works really well. A food meal does the job as well. Or if not, you can open up each tomato with your hands, remove the seeds, and then just either squish them by hand or use a food processor to make it more smooth. So this you just need to click in there. So you just push that, and then it's okay. You need to put one bowl here. The sauce is going to come this way, and on this side the seeds are going to come. So you can just go ahead and dump your tomatoes. And I put my hand in there because otherwise there's a little bit of tomato that goes everywhere. And then you can take this bowl. You can just take the seeds and pass it again so that there's no waste of the juice. The onions are pretty much there, so that's good. And I'm just going to pass it again. Sure that I use all of the liquid. You can pass it 3-4 times, should be good. So this is what's left. Just the seeds. use that on anything you want. It's really good, for example, with eggs. But any way you want to use it, it's just really good tomato. So my onions are nice brown, and I'm gonna add the garlic at this point. So as I said, this sliced garlic. And you just want to cook it for a couple of minutes. You don't want to brown the garlic, just to lightly saute it. Then we're going to add the tomato paste or sun-dried tomatoes. And it's starting to smell really nice. The idea of the tomato paste or the sun-dried tomatoes is that it gives a nice earthy flavor to the sauce. It's not to thicken it, it's just to give nice flavor. So you want to leave that there cooking for a couple more minutes. And once it's done, I'm going to add the tomatoes. The water is almost coming to a boil, so that's good. It's going to be just perfect timing, I think. Just a couple more minutes, and it's almost done. So this is how it looks like now. And at this point, I'm going to add the tomatoes. You want to make sure you don't waste anything. So now you want to bring it to a simmer and cook it until it reduces to a nice thick sauce. So now I'm waiting for the sauce to come to a simmer, and just make sure you stir it constantly because you don't want just the bottom to scorch. So just keep it stirring it and bring it to a simmer and then let it reduce for around 15 minutes. Now the sauce has come to a simmer. Make sure you add some salt in there. And we now want to let it simmering a little bit more until it reduces and you have a nice thick tomato sauce. So we're just gonna leave it there, stirring it frequently until you have a nice consistency. I'm gonna try and see how it is. Watch out because it's really hot. That's getting really good. Nice. So now you can see that the sauce has a really nice thick consistency. It's looking pretty good. And you can try again at this point. Adjust the seasoning if necessary. That's really good. And I think that's good. You can add some pepper if you want to, but it's not necessary. And now you can take it off the heat. And finish it up with some fresh basil. And some olive oil as well. That looks really good. Now I have my water boiling. So once the water has come to a boil, you want to add 2 good tablespoons of salt. Today I have a lot of water, so maybe I'll just add 3. You can even taste the water to make sure that you have enough salt. You want the water to taste like sea salt. You do want to make sure that there's enough seasoning. That's good. It tastes, you can really taste the salt. You want that because it does make a big difference in the flavor of the pasta. So now I'm just gonna open the pasta and I'm gonna put it in the water. That's good for 2 people, and I'm gonna time it for 5 minutes. So now you just wanna leave it there and stir it occasionally, not too much, but just until it comes again to a boil. You can stir it occasionally. So now I'll get my, in the meantime, while the pasta cooks, I'm gonna get my pan ready. So I'm gonna warm that up, and I'm gonna put some of the beautiful tomato sauce that we just made, so we can toss the pasta in the sauce. So heat up the pan. And I'm gonna use around 2 of this small ladles of sauce. It's around a good portion for one. This was a little bit much. you just want to make sure that your sauce is warm for when your pasta is done. And these colander that I'm using, it's pretty handy because it's very easy to take out the pasta and leave some of the pasta water. It's very useful to thin out the sauce if necessary with these or with any other pasta that you cook. So it's handy. If you don't have one of those, you can just save some of the pasta water before you throw out the rest. So the pasta now has been cooking for almost 4 minutes. I'm just going to try it now and see how it is. But usually I cook it for 5 minutes. Yeah, it still needs a little bit more time. So now my sauce is warm enough. The pasta, it's almost done. So now you can just take out your pasta. And pour it on top of your sauce. And you can just use a pair of tongs to gently toss it. And you can now plate your pasta. Oh, I added way too much sauce. And you can finish it up with some fresh basil if you want to. And some olive oil. And a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And that's it. Your meal is ready. Enjoy!